A dança das cadeiras na Sentinels tem dado o que falar e reunimos tudo que está sendo falado sobre a situação do Pancada.
I just think that, again, if you were trying to make the best possible 5-person roster, it would make the most sense to still have Zelsis in there because he adds...
Everyone's gonna have opinions on like, oh yeah, this guy should be replaced because he played well in this one match that I watched. As a whole, you have to look at the bigger picture, and PANCADA as a controller fits more than Zelsis does, so...
Apparently not for the time being. So clearly some frustrations there as far as I'm concerned from PANCADA. Like, you know, clearly thinks he's good and he's playing well, but yet he's not even going to be playing. And the implication is, of course, that, you know, there's any thoughts from Sassy as well, given the fact that he came into Sentinels with his, you know, Brazilian duo in PANCADA.
A esposa do Sadak fez um desabafo sobre a permanência dele na Loud, e o primeiro adversário da Team Liquid no Mundial foi divulgado. Tá cansado de cair com troll nas rankeds e quer jogar com pessoas que querem levar a sério e evoluir no jogo? E o melhor, a cada partida você vai acumular pontos para um ranking onde os melhores ganham premiações. É uma hub exclusiva para quem é assinante Neverest, onde você vai encontrar pessoas que querem levar o game a sério. Sendo assinante Neverest, além do acesso à hub, você vai encontrar muitos outros benefícios para evoluir no game. Use o cupom SMOKEMID15 para ter 15% de desconto na sua assinatura. O link vai estar aqui na descrição. Fala galera, tudo bem com vocês? A Sentinels está fazendo bastante partidas nessa off-season, mas o que ninguém esperava era que essas partidas alterassem algo no time titular. O Pancada, que foi considerado o melhor controlador do mundo no ano passado, jogou apenas uma partida dessa off-season, que foi contra a MOIS, time do Challengers NA, onde a Sentinels perdeu por 2-1. E desde então a Sentinels disputou 6 partidas, e o Pancada só disputou mais uma, quando foi a vez do Tens ficar doente. Dessa vez, a partida foi a final do Sentinels Invitational contra a Oxygen Sports, onde a Sentinels venceu por 2-0 e o Pancada foi o destaque da partida. Porém, dois fatores recentes realmente chamaram a atenção do público. O primeiro é que recentemente o elenco titular da Sentinels fez um showmatch contra uma seleção montada pelo Tarek. E o normal a se pensar era que o Pancada voltaria para o time titular, certo? Mas ele ficou de fora do elenco titular da Sentinels e ainda jogou pelo time do Tarek contra o time titular. Além disso, a Sentinels está treinando para mais um evento de off-season. Dessa vez, o Africa TV League. E quem está treinando com o time titular é o Zelsis e não o Pancada. Apesar de nem a Sentinels, nem o Zelsis, nem o Pancada ter se pronunciado sobre o assunto oficialmente, o Pancada postou um clipe nas suas redes sociais e escreveu: "Pra que essa mira toda se eu nem jogo?"
One bench.
Last player standing.
140 Scott.
Nossa, dá nice.
Both one.
One enemy remaining.
Oh my god.
Tá escrito nas estrelas, pode pau, o pai é monstro, tio. Thank, valeu pelo...
E obviamente essa provável ida do Pancada para o banco de reservas da Sentinels tem gerado bastante discussão nas redes sociais. O Fame, que era coach da 00 Nation, comentou o seguinte: "O time da Sentinels ter o Pancada como sexto player é a coisa mais absurda que eu já vi no Valorant. O problema daquele time tem nome e sobrenome." Pois é, o Fame disse aí que o problema do time tem nome e sobrenome. Sobre quem você acha que ele tá se referindo? E obviamente o assunto repercutiu ainda mais lá na gringa. Há alguns episódios, os analistas do Plat chegaram a comentar sobre o caso do Pancada, sobre as pessoas pedirem ele no banco após apenas uma partida jogada. Inclusive comentaram que o lineup ideal para Sentinels com 5 jogadores teria o Tens no banco e não o Pancada.
Yeah, but also people were talking about Pancada being like a rough player or washed or something when he spent the entire last year playing an off role, and then he played one map while he was sick, or like one match while he was sick. And then this was the first time that we'd actually seen him playing with the team properly. He hadn't been scrimming. So I think people just... The problem with this team is actually that, in theory, they have a really good 6-person rotation roster. Like, you could make an awesome roster on a map-by-map basis by rotating these 6 players around. What you can't do is create a perfect 5-person roster for every map, I think, at the moment. And in order to get to that point, you need Sassy to continue improving on Sky. You need Tens to continue rounding out his agent pool. And you also would probably need to just bench Zelsis, which is a tragedy because of all the things that we were talking about Zelsis being amazing at in terms of what he brings to the comms of the team as well and the energy. So that, to me, is a bit of a pickle because I think a lot of the fans of Sentinels are going to want Zelsis to play if they're playing, you know, if they run into a rough patch. I'm just talking about the fact that they could run a 6-person rotating roster, but I don't think it would be wise. But it's the most tempting thing to go for with this roster, because otherwise trying to find a solid 5 core just leaves Zelsis out, and it means that you're really relying on Tens and Sassy to continue getting better. And they do look better. I also... let me don my Tens hater cap for a moment. If you were going to try to... No.
Oh, he's trying to go viral again.
No.
Just say it, Josh.
If you were going to create a 5-person roster that was the best possible roster, I think it would be with him on the bench and Zelsis in, because Zelsis is insanely flexible, adds more in the comms, etc. But Tens played out of his mind on a couple of these maps. His Yoru on Bind is spectacularly good at the moment, actually. There's nobody's able to replicate what he's doing on Bind with the Yoru. I don't think it's going to work at the top tier 1 level. Like, I think if he plays against the top teams in the world, if they make it to a Masters tournament, I think it will get countered. But at the moment, at the level that they're playing at, it's fantastic. And his Breach has looked really competent too on Sunset, and especially the defense side of Split. It looks really good. So they're starting to flesh that out nicely. I just think that, again, if you were trying to make the best possible 5-person roster, it would make the most sense to still have Zelsis in there, because he adds more, at least as far as I'm aware, to the communication than Tens does. And again, that's not just based on me fucking listening to their comms videos or something. We were allowed to sit in the comms for multiple matches throughout the year last year. So, I think that it's not a disaster zone like it was when Tens was on Duelist, but it's just still awkward territory for them, where they really have to focus on getting Tens better and better and better and better, and if they want to continue to improve, and getting Sassy Sky better too. And Tens is not playing Sky at all, which is also meaning that Sassy has to play it all the time when he doesn't want to. Well, I don't know whether he wants to or not, but he's not as good at it as the like Sova, Fade, Breach that he would otherwise be playing.
No meio de toda essa confusão, o FNS também deu a sua opinião sobre quem seria o melhor nome para essa função de controlador da Sentinels.
Off-season opinions are very skewed, in my opinion. Like, everyone's gonna have opinions on like, oh yeah, this guy should be replaced because he played well in this one match that I watched. As a whole, you have to look at the bigger picture. And PANCADA as a controller fits more than Zelsis does, so... Well, no, it's just more that PANCADA has more experience on the role of being a controller, and has proven more as a player, individually and on his old team. Sentinels, I've seen cut PANCADA. Okay, bring him back. Okay, fine, Tens is the problem. In a matter of 3 days, I've seen that.
O canal Valorant News, que é um dos principais canais gringos a trazer notícias sobre o competitivo de Valorant, também tem abordado o assunto nos seus vídeos recentes. No mais recente, ele trouxe a FNS falando sobre o time e um leaker gringo afirmando que o PANCADA irá para o banco.
Just to note that still on VLR, it is listed as Zelsis being the sub, although, well, I'm pretty sure James of F might have done a bit of a Photoshop job here to say that this is what it actually looks like, because as far as I can tell, PANCADA is not listed as the sub at the time being. But I did want to share this clip from FNS. This came out during the kind of Tarek show match they played the other day. And sure, it was a Tarek show match. They weren't a full team, but Sentinels at least started off looking particularly good in this one. And it was, well, FNS is making the point these guys are very polished at the moment and will be very difficult to stop this season.
I'm watching Rob.
It's so hard to win.
Drop.
Last player standing.
Wow. Yo, Sentinel's about to win next year. No cap. They are playing well.
Drink some water, reload.
Okay, Sentinels is either going to win everything next year, and if they don't, they're show match warriors.
Yeah.
They are off-season warriors if they don't win.
Yeah, I'm just on a bounce there. Grabbing the
I
win.
knew they would go B, man.
Close.
Windows holding up.
Flashing close.
You think him in?
And he gets away.
No. On the right
Facing.
side.
Right side.
It's on the left.
The cage?
You're
I
at
think
the
he's
right
in
side. Oh, I cleared it. Oh, he's still there.
I'll kill him.
Last player standing.
I know exactly where you
Holy fuck.
The eyes are down. Spike planted.
Holy shit.
This guy just played a masterclass.
And
Yeah, dude.
No cap.
Last round before the switch.
spend it all.
Remote, they for sure try to end A.
I swear to...
Remote.
Yeah.
Mark my
They're gonna
words.
do like a can
If Sentinels
I'll know
do
myself.
not farm this season,
Are they using util to take him in?
That might smoke.
You ready to smoke
No, it's okay. We don't need
they're...
to-
I've
I think it's
never
just walk.
seen
Okay, I
a
think
group
it's
of
just
players
If
this
you guys contact, I'm
informed
ripping my ult.
Just bait me. I'm gonna walk on.
before.
Pois é, o FNS deu uma exagerada aí sobre a Sentinels ser o melhor time que ele já viu jogar, mas com certeza essa repercussão e elogios que a Sentinels vem recebendo com o Pancada no banco influenciam diretamente na decisão. E em outro vídeo, o canal Gringo também falou sobre os vazamentos de treinos que tiveram recentemente, com o Pancada no banco e o Zelzi jogando de titular, e até falou sobre aquele tweet do Pancada que mostramos no início do vídeo.
For now, this is how it is. We had some scrimbucks coming through yesterday. Sentinel side, John QT, Zekken, Kaplan the coach, Zelsis, Sassy and Tens. So, again, it's the same story. So I was wondering when we would get some sort of statement from Pancada on this, because it's not like Sentinels have said this outright, what's going on, but when they confirmed the other day that the show match was going to be between the starting Sentinels roster with Zelsis and that Pancada was going to be on Tarek's that they were playing against, that was as good a confirmation as you're really going to get. But Zelsis, Zelsis hasn't really said this officially, as Sentinels haven't said this officially, but I think the implication is relatively clear. So Pancada comes up with a very nice little play here, gets this, to be honest, a pretty ridiculous clutch, 30 HP, got to defuse the spike. Not really sure what these plonkers are doing, to be honest, but he does get the 2Ps and gets the defuse as well. But as he says, why all the same if I don't even play? So, it's kind of saying to Sentinels, hey, look, I'm still here. Like, I'm still the player that you want to have on your team, but apparently not for the time being. So clearly some frustrations there as far as I'm concerned from Pancada. Like, clearly thinks he's good and he's playing well, but yet he's not even going to be playing. And the implication is, of course, that, well, he's not going to be on the team at all. On VLR, Zelsis is still listed as the sub, but I don't think that's the case anymore. From all the indications, Pancada's now the sub, Zelsis is in the team. Could they do a 6-man roster? Could they change things around? Yes. Do they want to? Is that in the best interest of the squad? I don't really think so. I don't really know what's better between Zelsis and Pancada. Clearly, the team thinks Zelsis is the way to go, but understandably, Pancada's not going to be happy about it, and we might see more frustration come out from Pancada over the coming days if that is to be true, especially because when Zelsis joins, he wanted to focus on his content and also have a chance to compete at some point. I'm not sure he really expected to be finding himself in this position so early on. That's all we have so far from Pancada. I wonder whether, there's any thoughts from Sassy as well, given the fact that he came into Sentinels with his, Brazilian duo in Pancada. We've seen plenty of clips over the last couple of years as well where, Sassy and Pancada will find themselves in a 2 versus 2 or 2 versus 3. They'll start communicating in Portuguese and it works out for them. But, that's not really an option anymore, right? With Pancada out of there with Zelsis in. So, yeah, wouldn't have predicted this coming into the season, that Pancada would be effectively benched shortly into the season. But a player of his caliber is not just going to sit there and take it, He's going to be trying to prove his worth to get back into the starting team. And maybe that's going to be good for himself and his own performance and the performance of the team on the whole.
Pois é, galera, tentei trazer um pouco de tudo que tá sendo falado na mídia gringa, sobre toda essa dança das cadeiras que tá rolando na Sentinels. Então já deixa a sua opinião sobre tudo isso aí nos comentários e vamos para a próxima notícia. Durante a janela de transferências, a saída do Sadak da Loud foi bastante debatida, porém o IGL da equipe renovou com a organização por mais 2 anos. E recentemente a Yanka, que é a esposa do Sadak, comentou a permanência dele na equipe falando o seguinte: toda vez que eu leio sobre os possíveis motivos do site ter permanecido na Loud, eu fico de cara. Além de sem noção, tem umas infos que o povo tira do... Não é possível. Ele é a pessoa mais incrível e profissional que eu conheço, e podem perguntar pra qualquer um que tenha trabalhado com ele. Dinheiro é importante sim, até porque ninguém se alimenta de amor, né, gente? Mas podem ter certeza que pra ele não é tudo. Ele teve sim a oportunidade de trabalhar em outro time, e vocês não imaginam o quanto isso poderia ter dado certo. Mas vai muito além da equipe. Ele ama os meninos do time e o que ele mais me falava era: eu não quero deixar eles sozinhos. Eu sou péssima com mudanças, demoro muito a me adaptar, meu inglês é ruim, eu não teria contato diário com os BRs, com a minha cultura, e isso pesou muito pra ele também. Então não digam que ele ficou por dinheiro ou porque era mais confortável. Ele pensa em tudo antes de tomar qualquer decisão. Pois é, rapaziada, a esposa do Sadak fez um breve desabafo sobre a permanência dele na Loud, mas deixa a sua opinião sobre isso aí nos comentários e vamos para a próxima notícia. O Mundial do Game Changers começará dia 28 de novembro e acontecerá aqui no Brasil, em São Paulo. E a equipe que representará o Brasil será a Team Liquid. E nessa segunda-feira saiu a tabela do campeonato. O primeiro adversário da Team Liquid será a G2 Guzen. As duas equipes também se enfrentaram no ano passado, também pelo Mundial. E na ocasião, a G2 venceu a Liquid por 2-0. Mas as duas equipes mudaram seus elencos e vamos torcer para que dessa vez a vitória fique com o Brasil. A revanche entre as duas equipes será a abertura do campeonato, que acontecerá dia 28, às 2 da tarde. Mas é isso, pessoal, o vídeo vai ficando por aqui. Deixa sua opinião sobre tudo isso aí nos comentários. Deixa também aquele like, se inscreve aqui no canal para não perder nada. Aquele abraço, até o próximo vídeo.